A couple of days ago, I gave you guys 3 metal tones to choose from, and I put a poll out there and let you guys vote on it. And just yesterday, well, the day before I made this video, I went live on YouTube and shared those poll results and which amp was which. One of those tones was a real amp. So I wanted to make this video real quick here to give you the results again in case you missed the live. But more importantly, I want to go a little bit deeper and share the settings of each amp with you so that you can use these settings if you have this amp or the plugin, or just take the settings and replicate it with your amp or plugin. I wanted to share that with you because, well, it just seems like the right thing to do. So let's get into it real quick. I'm going to play just a short clip of the tones again so that you can hear them. And then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the settings. And I've got some more cool stuff to share with you as well. All right, so this is tone 3. We're going to start from 3 and go to 1. Although tone 3 actually came in second place, hopefully I'm not confusing you here, but anyway, we're going to start with tone 3. Tone number 3 is the Bias Amp 2 triple tread plate. Okay, this is based on obviously the Mesa Boogie triple rectifier. And you can see my settings. I'll quickly go through these. Nothing special here, guys. I don't have any extreme settings. That's the beauty of this thing, okay? So I mean, gain is at, I wish they showed you the numbers here, but they don't. Gain is like, and I'm moving it, it's like 6 point, right at 7, okay? That doesn't look like 7, but it is. The bass, I actually cut the bass up a little bit. These plugins will sound very thin if you don't crank the bass up. My mids are cut. I got those cut way down. I didn't realize they were cut so much, but they're cut under 3. Treble is almost at 7. I have to move the knobs in order to see the data there, so that's why I'm moving that. Presence is cut quite a bit here. The presence actually sounds better cut on this particular amp. And of course my master's up, you know. Now I've got a noise gate. I've got the drive on here, the OD pedal. The drive is kind of typical. It's at 0, and my level is about 7 there. Let's move over quickly to the speakers. This is where, and I'm not like telling you guys, hey, go buy Positive Grid stuff. I like their plugins, just my preference, you know. Anyway, so I'm using their Celestion speakers here. This is the V30. To me, the Celestion speakers in this particular plugin is what makes the difference. Without them, I mean, their other speakers and cabs and all are okay, but they're not great. So real quick before we move to number 2, tone number 2, you'll notice that I have 2 rhythm tracks. Well, maybe you didn't notice that, but I'm telling you, I record 2 rhythm tracks. Most of you know that. I pan one hard pan it left, I pan the other right, okay? This is left. If I go to the one on the right, the only change is I'm using a different speaker, okay? In this case, it's, again, the Celestion, but this is the greenbacks here. Quickly, the reason why I do that is I like to have 2 slightly different tones, okay? Just slight differences in each speaker when I'm recording those tracks because it just brings the mix to life. I do play both tracks. You don't duplicate the track. That just increases the volume and it's pointless. You want to play that second track, okay? This is just a recording tip because that's going to bring out more life in your tone, okay? Or in your overall mix. All right, let's go to tone number 2. We'll move through this pretty quickly here. Let me find it. I gotta scroll through here and find it here. Okay, yeah, so the other tone I used was the orange Rockerverb sim. Again, this is Positive Grid's Bias Amp 2. Using it with FX, but using the amps from Bias Amp 2, okay? So the British Rock 50. Now, this is the tone I have saved. I just pulled up. You can save your tones in this thing, obviously. So the gain, I actually cranked it all the way up for what you heard in the mix, because it needs it, okay? I do have an OD pedal in front. Same settings as before in the Mesa, the triple tread plate. But you see my settings here. Now my bass is cut just a little bit here. Again, I have to move the knobs to see where it's at. The mids, I've got those boosted a little bit, okay, unlike the other amp. And that kind of helps it cut through the mix. And hey, maybe I should have boosted the mids a little in the other amp as well, but I didn't. So anyway, the treble's right about at 7, presence is right about 6. And master is like 6. I don't know why I cut the master up, but for whatever reason I did. Okay, so the speakers here, same setup as I had with the triple tread plate, okay? In one speaker, I'm using the Celestion V30. If we move over to my other tone that I had panned to the other speaker, the other side, I'm using the G12M Greenback Celestions. All right, let's come down here and talk about tone number 1, which was the winner in this little contest here. You guys voted for the real amp, okay? So we've got the 51, the EVH 5153. This is the 50 watt head. It's the EL34 tube version. I'll go through the settings, but then I'll tell you why I chose the EL34 over the 6L6. That was actually the first EVH I played, the 6L6, but I'll talk about that in a second. I've got the matching 212 cab. You can see the Shure SM57 mic, got it mic'd up with that. So let's quickly go through these settings. First things first, we've got the MXR Smart Gate in front of the amp here, okay? Got a cool chorus pedal there. I'm not using that for this tone, although that pedal does sound cool through this amp. I'll feature that in another video. But anyway, we've got the Smart Gate down there, and the reason I'm not using an OD is because this amp on the red channel, which we're playing through, does not need an overdrive. This amp has monstrous amount of gain. So talking about gain, our gain is only at about 7 here, okay? My mid is almost straight up and down, just boosted a hair. My mids are cut to about 4, not cut too deeply. The highs are at about 6, a little over 6 there. I've got my presence a little over 6 as well. Now my volume here, which is interesting on this amp, it's like between 1 and 2 there. This amp gets a great tone to low volume, but don't let that volume knob deceive you. This thing is loud in this room. So the first time I played through an EVH amp, it was the 6L6 version, and I was actually in Bangkok, Thailand when I played through that amp for the first time. I was in Siam Paragon, one of those malls there. I can't remember the name of the guitar store. But anyway, I played through that amp and I was just blown away. It was a 6L6, the EVH 6L6 combo, 112 combo. I'm like, whoa, this sounds amazing, right? So I had my heart set on the 6L6 until one of my buddies, actually Brian from the Southern Creek Band, a local cover band here, he had the EL34 head. So I played through that and I'm like, whoa, this thing sounds awesome too. And I ended up going with the EL34 version because it seemed to give me a little bit more diversity in tones. I don't just play metal. Sometimes I like to play other styles as well. Sometimes I just kind of want that raw, like rock and roll sound, which the blue channel, you can really get that raw rock and roll sound from the blue channel here. So anyway, I just want to share that tidbit with you. Now, one point I want to make is that I was not trying to make a point in this video. I know some people automatically will say, well, the tube amp, of course that's going to sound best. Or some people might say, well, plugins, they're just at that level now. You can't tell the difference. Well, this was a true blind test for you guys. In the original video where you voted, which I'll put that up here if you missed that, you can go back and watch that. Of course, you just heard the tones anyway. But the original video, I did not share which amp was which. Okay, I only said that one of these is a real amp, but I just really wanted you to use your ears and let me know what was best to you, what sounded best to your ears. At the end of the day, guys, guys. That's really all that matters. Not everyone chose tone 1, which that was the real amp. Most people chose that. You saw the poll results earlier. The majority of you chose that amp, but hey, some people chose tone 2, which was the orange amp and the bias amp plug-in, and some people chose tone 3, which was the triple, what is called triple tread plate in the bias amp 2 plug-in. So, you know, that just goes to show you that people have different taste, and we perceive tones and sounds and even styles differently. So there's not really a wrong or right answer here. Now, I prefer the real amp because I've played a lot through these plugins and other plugins as well. I know many will probably say, well, there's better plugins than Positive Grids. I happen to like them a lot. Maybe it's just because I'm used to using them. A lot of those tones you hear on the videos that I put out there, if I just need to get something out quickly, well, I'm using Positive Grid, okay? Sometimes I'll use STL tones as well. I just started doing some work with them. You see some videos out there where I've been displaying some of their tones, and I'll probably be using more of those tones in the future, the STL amp hub, and maybe I'll feature one of those next time. I might do a real amp versus STL comparison. Let me know if you guys want that, by the way, because I like doing these comparison videos. I like for you to be able to say, okay, I like this, you know, a little bit better than this over here, not knowing which is which. So again, it's all about what sounds good to your ears. A lot of you commented good things about tone 2. Probably had more good comments about that despite the polls, right? Despite what the votes were, many of you had really good things to say about tone 2. In fact, someone even commented that they could hear the room noise with tone 2. Well, that was a plug-in, that was the orange amp, and in my opinion, Positive Grid, you know, along with the Celestion speakers there, they did a really nice job on that amp. That's become my favorite amp sim right now. You guys know, like our favorite song that kind of changes from day to day. I like this one day, you know, Cocoa Pebbles, but maybe tomorrow I want Fruity Pebbles. It just works that way. But right now, lately I've been playing through this orange amp. I really like that tone a lot, and it does have a little bit more realistic response in tone and sound and everything than some of the other plugins that I'm used to playing through. But yeah, I just want to share this with you guys, so I appreciate you all participating in this. You know, I put the original video out there, and I sent you guys to a community post on YouTube to vote. And of course, many of you voted, had a lot of votes on there. And then I pointed to the live video, which I did the video before this, to share those results. That was a really fun project. I really enjoyed putting that together, and had a lot of folks on the live as well. Had a great time chatting with you guys. I'll try to do this stuff more often. It seems like you guys really enjoyed that, enjoyed being a part of this. And I love going live with you guys on here too, because we just sit here and talk about stuff. So I'm gonna make a point to do more lives on YouTube as well. It's just fun hanging out with you guys in here. Folks, that is it for today's video. Please do check out the links in the description of this video. If you don't have my free metal guitar practice guide, grab that, okay? It's completely free. I will tell you the caveat, I do try to sell you my courses once you get into my email and all that. I like to be transparent with you guys. This is how I make my living, folks. This is it. This is what I do. I walked away from my corporate job 2 years ago to play music full time and do this. So I work around the clock, but yeah, get the free practice guide. If you don't want to purchase my courses, you don't have to. No harm, no foul. Enjoy the free stuff. I want you to get that first. I do have links to my guitar courses though. I've got a beginner's course called Metal Guitar Apprentice, and I've got the premium course called Metal Riff Master. The links to all of those are in the description of this YouTube video, and there's some other links down there as well. So please hang out in the YouTube description for a little bit, scroll through that and just see all the cool stuff there. And again, I do appreciate your support. Guys, if you have any questions or comments on this video, feel free to leave them, or if you have ideas for future content. I always love to hear what your ideas are, because this channel is really not my channel, it's your channel. I want to put stuff out there that you guys want, you know, that you guys can be part of. This is a community here, so I really appreciate you being a part of that with me. Alright guys, so let's wrap this one up. Until the next video, you know what to do. Keep it metal.